Good afternoon, everyone. This is Matt over at Milestone Capital Growth Portfolio.com, and today is Saturday, August 22nd. As promised, I am going to do a market video real quick. Um, we definitely want to take a look at several things, but this is just for everybody. But we're going to really take a look at SPY in depth because that's going to be pretty much a big market indicator. The Dow we know is broken. We know all the big boys are dropping. You know, we've been planning this for quite some time. Everybody's been watching the videos, so they know. And yes, it's finally come true. So we're going to drill it down backwards. We're going to start from the top and work our way down, and we're going to go right from the quarterly chart and go from there. Okay, so the quarterly looks pretty good. Your relative strength index is 69. You know, you can see volume is just dripping down, and got some good selling volume coming into it now, which is really nice. Good solid candle here. You double bottom support coming in right around 195 in that area, so keep an eye on that. But you know, if you look at this, you could see going by the quarterly, you have an up, a down, an up, a down. You know, there's one thing after another that gives you pretty much a safety net on what's going on. So we got this trend line right in place here for the long term, which is sitting right at your middle Bollinger Band as the middle Bollinger Band travels up. So you can see here, you know, if this thing continues dropping, you're looking at, you know, 160 to 170 in that area. Not if, it will continue. Okay, and here's my target, you know, 157, 160 in that area for support. Actually, I'll bring it up a little bit higher. I'll give you an exact number. The 155, no, we'll say 157 flat is going to be my reset, full reset before we rock it to the upside and go to 30,000 for the Dow. But for now, we're going to just use this and look at our long term. So there's our trend line right there, and it's just simple setup, easy, you know, not reading too much into it. Has nothing to do with China or anything like that. It's just it is what it is. Okay, looking at the monthly, it's getting a little more interesting here as we get pounded those this last week, which brought this under the middle Bollinger Band on the monthly. Okay, that was very important. But we have to close. If we're going to go up, we got to close the month over that. If not, we are definitely coming down 180, and the 50-day moving average is over here. Last time, you know, last couple dumps that we took, you know, we're down here at the 200. So I mean, if we get to the 200, that'll be 132. So I don't see that happening, but I do see the 50 to in between the 50 and that one. But there's going to be many bounces, and we're going to take a look at that right now. The weekly, we got some support coming in on the weekly at the 100 SMA, which is a simple moving average, just in case you didn't know. Huge volume though on the weekly. You can see this week was just epic. You know, it dropped 5.63% just for this past week. You can't beat that with a stick, especially when you know, you're in the puts and riding this down. But you can see the relative strength index getting lower at 60. Let's bring it down to the daily, see what's going to be shaking here. You can see the daily is just way out of bounds here, and the relative strength index is at 25. Power selling, it was actually beautiful. So you know, we work a lot with technical indicators, and it's just that simple because they work. You know, if we come off this last high right here and draw this is pretty much our consolidation box right here. Okay, because we over here, this high was higher than these highs, and then you had this low here. So that's pretty much your new consolidation box. But you know, these other ones are consolidation boxes too. You have your high and your low right here, no big deal, you know. But so seeing how we broke that, what I would do is bring it out. You know, you have your top right there, and bring it to your lowest points over here, and use that as support, because it was support here and it was support here. It's way overextended to the downside, and it just needs a little break to the upside. I will tell you, it's completely broken and heading south for quite some time, and that's what I am doing. And we knew this was coming. This was absolutely perfect, and it's really working. Okay, here's your 50, the little blue line. Here's your 200. You could see a death cross starting to getting ready to take place too. But understand, we're going to get a pop, and that's what I want to get into next. The pop is really important because you want to make sure that you're playing that for the upside. But we're going to identify two other areas real quick here as targets. You have the 190 gap right here. Let's drop this down a little bit more. and that's going to be at 190.38. There's going to be that gap here. This is the next target. We had the 202 as a target. That's this one right here, and we got this filled perfectly. That was our first target. Then our next target is the 190, and then we have another target a little bit lower, right around the 160 area right here, for a nice little gap, 165, 166, somewhere in that area. But we'll manage that as we get there. But let's talk about the upside real quick here. And I think we're going to get that upside on Monday because we've just been pummeled here, and it just needs a little bit of a reset. And let me get rid of this box. Hold on one second. Actually, I'll get rid of all of them. Switch us back to the weekly. I'll get rid of this. Okay. So we'll go back here to the hourly, and we're going to try and plan this out a little bit. You can see we have a gap right here, but that gap was filled. Okay, we got this gap right here, so let's mark that out. And we're going to use this on the hourly, of course, for now. And then we got another gap right here that's pretty important, right there. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you what my thoughts are. Okay, I'm gonna delete this one, but we have that gap, and I'm gonna mark it a little bit different. I'm gonna leave this wide open. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So here's my thought process. My thought process is we're going to get a reset. Okay. I think this is going to be left here. This gap is going to be left here until we hit our very, very bottom, and then this will be the upside target in the long term. Okay, so I think they're going to leave this gap here. That's my thought. And there's a lot of money flow coming out of everything, and I'll show you that in a couple minutes. So if we draw this trend line out, okay, we're going to come off the top of the highest candle here, and we're going to use the bodies of those two right there. Okay, so if this is our bottom right here, and we're gonna, I think we're gonna target this first gap, which is gonna fall in line by the time we get there with that middle Bollinger Band. We should get to the 204. 204 should be it. Okay, the 204 should be it. We might be able to hit this, but I think we're going to come in a little bit under this trend line, and then we're going to sell off very, very hard again. Okay, so be prepared for that because it's only going to be a 2 or 3 day hardcore pop because the volume's there right now. Now we're getting the extensions in the Bollinger Band, so we're going to get some big time swings. So pay attention real close because if you're trading all this other stuff and you see Google, which was down $35 the other day, if you're buying that and thinking it's going to go to the moon because it's green, it's not going to. Manage this process here because the market's going to stop and everything's going to reverse. It's just that simple. I mean, if you take a look at Google, we've been talking about this for a long time. We know where my gap is. The gap's right here. All right, the gap's at 601. It's going to get filled. There's another little bit of gap down here at 546. The potential is there, but we have to play the trend. Okay, we have to play what's available to us right now. Same with Google. All right, but we got Amazon down $21. Check it out. Look at how fast we filled this gap. Okay, very important because if you're with us, you understand these things. REGN, another one. You had this gap sitting right here. See this gap right here? Look at all the way down and filled it. All right, these things happen, and we have all the systems and everything in place to do that. So CMG is another one here, and yes, I'm only looking at the hourly right now because they're showing up a little bit better. But if you look at the daily, you can see a little bit clearer here. You got the CMG that's going to come all the way down to this area here, and that's going to be at the lowest. Okay, INTU, they missed earnings. That's a little bit different, but big drop, $13. ORLY, big drop, $13. Has some support here at the 50 to 80 moving average. So it's going to be a good scalp up here to the 246. Okay, so it's a big difference when you're watching all these things and you're tracking all these things. TTQ, TQQQ. Look at this thing, got pounded. But if you're looking at all the time frames on this, you pull out to a monthly, you can see this was almost dummy proof. Okay, very easy because it does its split, okay, and came up and closed this gap. Here's the gap. Okay, it does its split, came up, closed the gap, and then it got pounded again. All right, so it's coming all the way back down. It didn't split this time, so is it going to find some support right here and bounce up, meet resistance, and come down? Yes. All right, it's just that simple. So if you look at multiple time frames, you're going to see a huge difference on all this stuff. Okay, like this UVXY is another one. This is why we've been trading this one here. It's very simple because the process is it does a split and it comes back down and fills a gap. Okay, UCO, another one right here. So this is why you have to use the multiple time frames. I mean, this is almost too easy. Okay, it does a split, came all the way down and filled it. Except for it's filling it very fast. It's really working out well for us. But back to just by so use these main indicators to tell you exactly what's going on. Okay, so we got one gap, here's the next gap, and here's your lower Bollinger Band. Okay, but by the time it gets to the 180, these are going to start to spread a little bit. Okay, because it's going to have a bounce up and then it's going to have a bounce down. These are turning. So by the time these things start spreading, okay, we're going to be down at the 160. That's the other reason I have my 160 at the 50-day moving average right there. It's going to give us a full set reset right here. Okay, so it's very important to pay attention to all this stuff. So we got a little bit of a bounce coming in. Don't marry any of these pops. Everything falls together. You know, you want to trade them hard, try to trade them fast and make a lot of money from them. Okay, if you're doing options, make sure you're in the chat room, because we'll be doing all that. Once we hit our base at 190, that's going to be our first major support. Okay, so we're going to get this bounce here, and then we're going to tank all the way down to 190, which is a very important number, because as I've been making note of, that was my second target. Okay, after this 190, okay, I firmly believe there's going to be a heavy bounce to the upside, because we're going to leave a gap here one of these days this week. Okay, and that gap is going to be probably right in this area, 206, 204, 205 area, actually 204. Okay, and it's going to gap down one day, and then that's going to start us on our heavy pounding to the downside again. Once we get this 190, okay, we're going to have a list altogether for all these. We're tracking the largest drops, so we'll have our spreadsheet all ready for our members, where they'll be able to do the options on these. And the options will be laid out all from a technical standpoint, targets, charts, the whole 9 yards. It'll have a full video with everything, and that'll be about 3 or 4 months, because we're going to get a good 3 or 4 month bounce on this, and that'll take us to the end of the year, January, before we start to head towards the 190. The 160 area. So for now, make sure, if you're not a member, become a member, because the last 3 months, the last quarter of this year is going to be absolutely amazing. Actually, it's starting now. So make sure, remember, $99 a month, can't beat it. Welcome all the new members. We have quite a few starting to arrive now, based on the videos apparently. So make sure you stop in and see us. MilestoneCapitalGrowthPortfolio.com. Have yourself a great day.